just using the Wiz application. This is from Lowe's. We're doing the unpacking, basically. This here is from Home Depot, if I'm not mistaken. I got it from my dad, though, actually. So I don't know where he got it from. It's on the stage copy, though. We're going to unpack this. We're not going to use any of this big stuff. These two rollers, this kit probably costs like $13, $14. It's a 3-inch nap, 3-inch nap on the roller here. But I'm going forward with the detail of this. So it comes with this disposable tray. We usually reuse them as long as we clean them out pretty good. It's got a plastic cover, right? And this is basically what you need for a DIY project on your painting kit. And the good thing about these, which makes me buy these kits, not only do I get a new roller handle times 2, you get the 9-inch, but then you get this guy. I already pulled off the semi-smooth roller that came with it. It's right here, right? So it comes like that, right? And this is a 4-inch roller. The kit is for semi-smooth surfaces, which we're using a smooth surface. Cabinets, doors, trim, those are considered smooth surfaces. So you want to use a cabinets and doors roller application. This is a 6-pack, probably costs like $10, $12 also, but these are more valuable than this whole entire set to me. Because if I have a 4-inch roller, I can stab it in, wait for the click. Usually when I'm moving fast, I'll throw it in and then I'll just hit it down and then I'm ready to go. So what you want to do with these, you want to wet them with a little bit of water, get them as squeezed out as possible, get that excess water out, and then you want to get your paint, roll it in there, and get that paint inside where that moisture is. So that water actually attracts the paint, gets it into these perforous cavities in here so that it spreads well without striations of water and other like an invarious mixture. So you want a contiguous smooth spread. So on these cabinets, I'm going to moisten these, I'm going to throw some paint on it, I'm going to get the paint in there, I'm going to smash it down with a little pressure so I can make sure I get that paint in there. And when I'm doing my roller system, so I got my paint in the basin and I'm rolling it out. Okay, so I'm doing it like that just to get the paint in. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure so that I can squeeze out that extra water and get it kind of mixed in, right? And I know it may be a not so perfect way of doing things if you're gonna go with say a textbook layout, but the way I move is I get my paint. A lot of my paints I mix with like 10 or 15% paint thinner to get it a better spread, depending on the project, how much the client provides on it and how much I think I'm going to need. But if you're in a very warm environment and time of the year, you're going to need to know that your paint will start sapping up. It basically doesn't kind of dries out a little bit and it makes it spread less per stroke. And I generally cut my paint a little bit with some paint thinner. So once I get it smooth, I need it to spread the way that I need it to spread for the surface that I'm using. There you go. Paint thinner. There's a little bit here. I don't think we'll need to do it today because we have more than enough paint to get that project completed without that. And we're using the exact same paint that we used on the outside of the house. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's got the weather shield properties on it. And those weather shield properties will keep it from doing a lot of what it used to do over time with the moisture inside of this garage. So that was a good call, I would say, on us. So again, so when you're rolling your paint, get it in there, make sure that paint's in there, do a couple practice strokes to see how it's doing, and then once that paint is spreading the way you need it to, then you're gonna roll it out, get a good amount, and then wipe off the tip, right? Because what's gonna happen is you wanna keep your rolling bar or your iron or whatever this is, you want to keep it out of the paint so that it doesn't start dripping. Because what happened is if you submerge it completely, the bar to your roller will actually collect paint in the corners and drip out and be a mess. So you want to pull it out, get enough. You want to wipe off the excess from the tip, and then you want to spread it and then come down and even it out, okay? And so that's like a basic trick for you guys that are going into your DIY projects that aren't really familiar with what you're working with. Make sure that when you are painting a flat surface, that you're using a flat surface brush, okay? And again, let me get back to the point. The reason why I find this kit to be so valuable is this guy right here. It's a 2-inch cutter. And I don't really use 3-inch cutters. I use 2-inch or 2.5 because they do the job. I like to recycle my brushes, but I end up not doing it as much as I need to. I find myself buying new brushes on each new job. But again, this was gifted to me. And so I'm gonna use this system. When you get your brush, when you dab it, same thing, you want to wet it, squeeze it out, get that paint inside of these bristles. Once you got it done, get on this flat surface where there's no collected paint and get it in there, smooth it out, and then you want to tap on it a little bit so you know you don't have too much excess where it drops between the excursion of you bringing it to your surface, and then you want to do what you got to do. So when you're cutting, also, here's a technique. I'm going to do this left-handed. No, let me do it right-handed. When you're cutting between a wall and your cabinet, and you don't want your wall touched, you want to cut on the surface that you're painting. You don't want to cut in the corner of it. You want to cut it actually sideways so you can see your bristles hitting that corner, but not transferring to the other wall. And so if you go at it like this, you can and get some results, but that paint beads up at the tip. And so if you have excess paint on there, it'll actually make it uneven. And if you're cutting without tape, it'll be very distinguished that your line is kind of squiggly because that paint beads up at the tip. And to avoid that, you want to spread that paint thin enough by cutting into it like this. That way the bristles on the wall side aren't touching the wall, but they are cornering the substrate that you're cutting. And that will ensure that this cabinet has a straight line without us having to take down the wall, and you have your spread, a decent spread. And then you can come back within that cut. Since we're using this angled brush, you can come back at a good angle and smooth it out. And then from there, you take your 4-inch roller or your 9-inch or whatever, and you just spread it on in. And you can get as close as you want to. And then with these smooth cabinet rollers and doors, they don't leave paint striations. So you can see the texture of the paint when you're done with these. And I'm going to show you that later on in another video or later on in this video, how rolling with a roller that's conditioned for the substrate that you're using makes a difference. Because if I put the semi-smooth on, you'll start seeing the striations and the texture of what the roller itself will put on the wall, regardless of the paint. And we'll do that and then show you guys. That way you can know for sure what you're working with, and that based on your application, you have to have a certain type of brush that's specific to the certain type of substrate that you'll be painting on. Alright guys, like and subscribe if you feel like that was beneficial and interesting. I want to thank the cameraman for giving me this couple moments to share with you guys, and leave comments and let me know if you guys were able to benefit from it. And also share, because you know you got family and friends that like to DIY and don't want to pay a whole bunch of money. Remember, we're the poor contractors, so we're going to help you stay poor but spend less. Thank you. Stay poor, spend less.